So as Miss Lee said, I'm from Puerto Rico, from San Juan, Puerto Rico. I got something here so nice that I have just to read it for you. It's situated between Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean Sea, approximately 1,100 miles from southeast Miami, Florida. Okay. So we are really not too close, but we are American territory. All right. Okay. So I'm going just to talk to you about what happened in 2017. Exactly from the September 7, that was the Hurricane Irma, and then the September 20, that was Hurricane Maria. I'm from Puerto Rico, and my mom is still alive. I got a son, right now he's 15 years. He's a freshman from Clinton High School. And it's really hard 5 years ago just to have all those details and all of those change. But the best part is just to know that the Lord just call you, make the change, and the best part is to be obedience to that. I don't even have any choice for that because I lost every single thing. I don't have a house. I don't have no one there. I only have my kid. And I have just to, work for that. Be a mom, be a single mom. And the best part is that the Lord give it to me the strength that he always says in the Bible. And every time that I get it, it's the relationship with the Lord, have the amazing experience that the Lord is right there. In Psalm 3:3 say that what? That he just get your face, but he's around you. And that's his amazing thing, that you are not alone. No matter what happened in your life, you are not alone. In Spanish, no importa lo que te suceda, nunca estás solo. Maybe you say, oh my God, but she's from far away. But it's an amazing thing. It's a blessing just to be here in Sampson County. It's a blessing to be a blessing for others that are also living here. It's a blessing to be a blessing to all the students that are in Sampson Community College. They are trying just to do the best. What is the best? We can start there, but just depends on you, your decision. But when you are part of that decision, it's amazing that you can get one step forward. Make the difference. But when you have the Lord, you make twice the difference because it is spiritual and physical. All right? Also, let me just explain something about my family, okay? I'm the second. We are two children, two girls. I'm the oldest one. And the thing is that my family, my dad have a wealthy business, so we have nice education, we have a nice university, but also we just travel around the world and we just know a lot of different cultures. And it's amazing because when you just get that view, that is an open one, you will see what in your side you can appreciate what the Lord is doing for you. Maybe we can have a lot of things in our house, in our family, but when you lost everything, you will know what you have. You will know what to trust. That is the Lord. It's the only thing that happened in your life that is for every single second of your life, every second of your others that are near of you, and the ones that doesn't have a Bible, you are the best testimony. So they can just know and enjoy what the Bible says, what the Lord wants us to say about you.
Coming Coming up later on today's episode of Storytelling.
If we didn't have electricity, we'd have to sit here in the dark and watch TV.
Most aging adults want to stay in their homes as long as possible. And as your loved ones get older, you want to support them, even when you can't be there. Star is proud to offer Star Alert. This new system is now mobile and has GPS compatibility, so your loved ones can live their lives and you can have peace of mind, knowing they can get the help they need with just the simple push of a button. The new Star Alert also offers automatic fall detection, so help will be alerted even if they can't press the button. Call and ask about Star Alert today.
Eastern North Carolina is a beautiful place where we gladly choose to call home. And we strive to provide the best communications services. STAR is committed to improving communications to all our service areas because we want to improve the communities where we not only work, but also live. STAR Communications. We are neighbors serving neighbors.
Let me just tell you something about the Hurricane Maria. We have the first one that we have Irma, that was almost less than 2 weeks prior. So we got category number 5, close to the island. A lot of rain, like 15 inches in 48 hours. So it's a lot. The thing is that 2 weeks later, we have Maria. And Maria doesn't get close. Let me show it to you here. Look, just think that it is Puerto Rico, okay? So Maria went all this way. So they went across. So we have already damaged, and with Maria, we've been destroyed. Schools doesn't know when was going just to happen to those kids that were studying there. No power at all in all the island. The generators need some gas or diesel. It was impossible to get. When you got to the gas station, was 8 hours the line. I enjoy that. Yes. And when you get to get washed, you close it. You have to wash it by yourself because there was no power, no washing, no dryer. So you have just to check on that. Then when you just go to the huge truck that they have water, so you can bring some water to the house, you have to make a line too. So it was 5 hours of the line too. Then when you get to your house, you say, what I'm going to cook? My stove is an electrical one. It's not a gas one. So all of that, you were thinking, and the main thing is that I'm really a positive one person. And I just start laughing because I say, okay, this is a great training, Lord. I don't know what to do. So one of the pastor friend of mine say, you can be here. This is not a good one. I got a flood in my house. I got already damage in my house. So she said, come over. I got a room. Come over. Stay in our house. And the amazing thing is that, it's the first time that I just have that experience, that I have just to accept that blessing, because usually you raise your hands, okay? Maybe you are like me. I always bless, but it's so hard to receive that bless. Give me your hand. Give me your hand. You are like me? Yeah. Well, I have to learn that. I have to learn that. If I don't receive you blessing, I stop you blessing. And I say, what? I didn't know that. He said, come on. Now you have just to be in the other side. And it's amazing too. It's good. But sometimes it's hard because our ego, our maybe past way of life, doesn't give it to us the opportunity to be more in joy, more happy on that. And the thing is that the Lord just wants us to give it to us a training in all our areas. Something happened to you in the past, but it's a training for this next step of the future. And it's amazing because when everyone wants to get a plane and just to come back here to the States, was no seats, was no space, was nothing at all. People just want just to get out from the island because there was nothing there. You can even, what? At least I got my passports in Ziploc. That is so wise. Always keep all your documents in Ziploc because you don't know when the flow is coming up, so you have secure ones. The other thing is that maybe it was 4 of the commercial airlines have some jets, some aircraft that was full of people, that was free, no charge, but was a specific place to go. And was already booked. So I was praying, I was getting over, I was waiting, but at the same time rush because I say, my kid is in 4th grade, he have just to get that 4th grade, he can lose that 4th grade, he have just to come over, he have just to do it, he have to, what his parents are? So all that responsibility was in my head, was stopping me, was crushing me, was getting me down. So one open, another door open, and then I can say to you, for 5 years, I just saw his hands, his mercy, his wisdom, his grace, his favor. And this is amazing. That's real. The same way that you can see me is the same way that is that. No matter what, the Lord is right there. Without Christ, it's impossible just to get a step over, just to get another step. But it's just to get there, to have his mercy, to believe that the Lord is just making. And also, you never forget that. He's always working in me. He's always working in you. He's always working. He never stopped working. Do you know that? He never stopped working. Maybe when you are in sin, that you say, oh, Lord, you can see me because I'm really, 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 really bad. He's right there. He is right there. Oh, you will not listen my prayers because I'm so badly. He's right there, waiting so you can open your mouth and he can just do it what he has to do it, and you can just move whatever you have to move, what the Lord just wants us to do. And that is amazing. Para ti que no entiendes el idioma, yo te digo que solamente el Señor Jesús es tu ayudador y nunca vas a estar solo. Siempre, siempre, siempre. Always, 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 the Lord will be with you. Last summer, I just went to Puerto Rico. And the amazing thing is, that happened in what? 2017? Last summer. I visited some places that are still no power on. They doesn't have water. They're still working on that. And the best part is that they keep walking. They didn't stop. Some of them, they lost everything. But they have a blue tent, FEMA? They give it the blue tent so they can cover the things. They still have that. But at least they have a roof. At least they have the house. At least they can just still working. Now, I got a question for you, my dear new family. Think in what you think you can live without that. Ouch. Think in what you think you can live without that. But all of that, the Lord can supply to us. You say, how? You have to figure out. Because it depends on me. It's not depends on your neighbor. It not depends on your husband, your wife, your kids, grandkids, sister, brothers. No, it just depends. How is your relationship with the Lord? I don't say religion. I just say relationship. Another question. Your wife is here, your husband is here, let me know. Is here? Is beside you? Okay, good. Okay, you have a relationship, all right? Sometimes you don't think, or you're thinking, and she say, hey, you want a coffee, baby? You drink coffee? Yeah, good, okay. You drink coffee? Good, yes. And it's good. So sometimes you doesn't know, and he say, oh, baby, I see you so hard here. Let me just have a massage. And it's so good. Why? Because you have a relationship. At least you have to know what you want, what you like, what you doesn't like. Huh? So you will know what to do. But that's the way with the Lord. You have to keep it communicating because he's already communicated with us. The Bible is the way that the Lord has the instructions so we can know better him. And it's amazing. How do you know that she needs something? You got it. You got it. So you got the experience. Huh? The experience of that relationship. That was the Lord's needs. What is your experience? How many?
Love and forgiveness.
Awesome. You got the words. You got the words. But that's the way that the Lord wants to us. Okay? Because if you don't trust the Lord, who are you going to trust? Nothing at all. Nothing at all. That would be impossible just to do that. All right? So, now you have a homework just to get in the Bible. Psalm 3:3. Okay? That would be your homework. Try just to every time that you just go out from your house, have that verse. Okay? Because that verse does say that the Lord is what? What you say, I said just at the beginning. That is what? Around me. When you're ashamed, when you don't have enough strength, your head is down. So he get up your head. Because he forgives you and he gives to you a second chance in life. That was the Lord just give it to me. A second chance to grow up. A second chance to be a better mom. To take the responsibility, to bless other people. But the amazing thing is that by every single way that I get the road, the step, he's amazing. Because you doesn't know how many persons you can touch and bless. Your past is a good one. Back there. Who is back there? You can go to the front. Always. 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 All right? And something else, the other one is, if your plans don't go according to God's plans, give them up. Don't waste your time. I can imagine if I was in Puerto Rico doing what and not be here, I will be wasting my time in a long way. In a long way. So, if something happened to you, to your family, to your neighborhood, to your community, just think first that the Lord can be able just to change every single step from your life. But remember, be a blessing and also learn how to be blessed. All right? God bless you all, and thank you.
Please stay tuned. We'll be right back with more local storytelling.
You're out for an evening on the town. Finally a chance to relax and forget that you left your front door completely unlocked. Fortunately, you just installed a security system from Star Communications. With just your cell phone, you can check on your house, lock it down, light it up, and get back to relaxing.
You forgot to put Buster in his crate.
Unfortunately, we can't help with that. Security and automation from Star Communications. Call today to find out more.
To get the most out of your electronic devices, you need a strong internet connection and a protected home Wi-Fi network. You need high-speed internet from Star. Star has the fastest, most affordable high-speed internet service available for all your devices. We have no long-term contracts or high-pressure sales. Our service speaks for itself, and switching is hassle-free. We take care of everything with free installation from a local company. High-speed internet from Star. Internet at the speed of life.
With the Salemburg Christian Food Bank, we founded it, about 14 years ago? One of the founding board members of that. We started another outreach and planted a church in there. It's the Bread of Life outreach, and we help people that in our community that have a need that's other than food. And then we started doing videos in my backyard in a kitchen I built 6 or 7 years ago called The Grateful Shed, and it kind of grew, and it gives us a way, a avenue to bring up awareness and let people know what's going on. We've traveled to different states and helped with disaster relief, and this community has really been so supportive over the years. We've never had a genuine concern about money, volunteers, food, or any kind of supplies. It's always been great, and you know that if you know of a need in our community, we can reach out to us. We've had several people call today that we're able to take care of that's in crisis. And, and this is what community looks like. All of us coming together here for this, and people coming together to help their neighbors in need. And that's what our organizations do. We're all friends. This is our community. We're brothers and sisters in Christ. And on a personal note, if any of you people in this room and the sound of my voice ever have a need or whatever kind of problem you have on a personal note, that's too bad. I got my own problems, okay? I got time for that. I got my own bills to pay, you know what I mean? It ain't funny. The McPhails settled around Salemburg in the mid to late 1700s, and my family's been on this same land ever since. I was told that the King of England kindly asked the McPhails to leave. That's what I was told. And they found their way to the mouth of the Cape Fear River, coming to their new home. And when they got to the mouth of the river, I was told there was a big old sign that said, better, heavier land upstream. But they couldn't none of them read, so we settled here. Just down to earth, hard-working people, wouldn't put on airs, Scott Irish, wouldn't put on airs, don't want anything fun. That was out. Or anything enjoyable. Somebody might talk about you. If you know, it was told that my great-grandfather, Dan Rich, took his mule and his wagon and his family and went to Dunn shopping to get the stuff they couldn't grow. And they went to the grocery store and never seen one, and he bought a bunch of bananas. Never seen them, didn't know what they were. And on the way back, he asked Miss Della, my great-grandmother, she said, hand me one of them bananas. Is that what they called them? Yeah. She handed him one, and he was, going along that mule, and he peeled that thing back and bit down in it and looked around a little bit, went down a little bit further, and threw it out the edge of the road. He handed me the rest of them. He threw them out. What was wrong? He said, that was good. That was so good, it's bound to be a sin to eat something that good, and I'm not going to have it here. His wife he was a little man. He was not a big guy. He was a little man, but his wife was big. Della Martin McPhail was his wife. They said that she could put 200-pound sacks of fertilizer, one on each shoulder, and carry it across the field to put it in his hopper where he was plowing. She was a big woman. She wasn't no joke. So she was churning butter one evening. It takes 6 or 7 hours, just churning over there by the fireplace. And it finally got the consistency like she wanted it. And she was give out and aggravated. But the butter was like she wanted it. She could feel it. So she took the lid off, and somehow or another, a mouse had got in there and had made its way to the top. So she reached in there and grabbed that mouse by the tail and done her fingers like that and wiped that butter off that mouse and said, you didn't bring nothing in and you ain't bringing nothing out. So her son was my grandpa, Huey. Huey was a big man. Huey wore a 48 overall. He had 2 pair, one for Sunday and one for the other 6 days. He was a hard-working, humble man. And if you were ever around him much, I get this from him, he would aggravate. Sometimes he would hurt you, aggravate you. But when he was around, one story I thought was worth telling, if we were around his barns anywhere, and sometimes we would set up tables and the family would eat out there because the kitchen wasn't big enough. But if you were around them barns in the summertime, you need to keep an eye on Grandpa. Grandpa could rub his hand under his arm, like that right there, and grab a wasp nest full of wasps and throw it on the table or at somebody. And I've often thought, how bad a stench do you have to obtain that superpower of able to just grab that and to wash, not even steam. But he could do that. He had a brother named Duncan. Duncan was a little slow. And him and Grandpa was sitting on the front porch. As time went on, and they got more of the modern conveniences. He said, Duncan, it sure is nice to live at a time where we have electricity. And Duncan said, Huey, he said, I thought about that a lot. If we didn't have electricity, we'd have to sit here in the dark and watch TV. This is a true story. You talk about putting on airs. Grandpa had another brother named Thomas. Thomas was successful. Tommy McPhail, he was a successful farmer, more than we were. This is a true story. I experienced this. They all would come out of the field, and Daddy said, come on, let's go. And all my cousins and my uncle and everybody was climbing in the truck. We were all climbing back. Where are we going? What is going on? So we're going to Uncle Tommy's. For what? He bought a pickup that had an FM radio in it, and we're going to go look at it. We're going to go look at that FM radio. And they talked about that poor man on the way home, how he's putting on airs. And what in the world you need an FM radio with a farm truck? We sure did. We went over and looked at it. The favorite memories I have of growing up was at the hog killing. The hog killings was a good time. The smell in the early morning of the rosin and the fat lighter, that was good times for me. And Grandma would run in the house and cook that tenderloin. I remember she used to take a saucer and the edge of it and tenderize that tenderloin and fry it up. That was some good eating. They made do with what they had. And for breakfast, we would have brains and eggs. Before I knew that was gross. I wouldn't do that now, but nobody told me. And we would make lard, and I was 6, 7 years old, and as you can see, I can't sit still or stand still, and I couldn't then either. And we would have to stir that lard for, it seemed like eternity. But I was so scared of Daddy. Don't let it scald, boy. Oh, I just hated that stirring that lard. But one thing I wanted to say that some of y'all know, some of y'all may not know, but lard sustained life in this area. When they killed hogs, the most important part they got out of it was the lard because it wouldn't spoil. You didn't have to refrigerate it. And they would make biscuits with it 3 times a day. They would fry with it. They would season food with it. Lard was the most important part. Killing hogs was one of the favorite memories of mine growing up. Tobacco was the cash crop. That's how we made our living. And money was tight in the spring of the year. And I could hear them talking. If we can just make it to that first backer check, everything will be all right. That first backer check. Everything's going to be okay. Now, you talk about some ill, hateful people, contrary. In the spring of the year when the planting was going on and the money was tight, you kept your mouth shut and you looked down at your shoes a lot. I was on a work project a few years ago. This contractor said something a little bit out of the way to me. I just looked at him. He said, Mr. McPhail, I didn't mean for it to come out like that. I'm sorry. He said, I bet you think I'm hateful. I said, brother, you're an amateur. I know the men that raised me could break your spirit. You don't know what hateful is till you have a small tobacco farm in the springtime. It was that time of year you could ask Daddy on Friday night for $5 and he'd say, son, I don't have it. But when that first load of tobacco sold, first one, them sand lugs, they'd sell in tobacco. Just get that first check, everything will be all right. And that day would come, and we'd be in the field getting the next crop. And we knew Daddy had to check. He was coming home from Clinton from the tobacco market. You could see his pickup coming with the dust around it. We'd be looking for his hat. Daddy's hat was the tell on how the tobacco sold. If it was like this, he was just okay. The higher the price he got for the tobacco, the further back his hat was and off to the side. So when he pulled up there before he said anything, if his hat was like that, we knew he got about $3.75 a pound, and everything would be all right. And I could look up from my shoes and maybe pick at him a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. Till next spring, and it would start all over. Barney tobacco was the culture. If the crop come off late when I was growing up, they would postpone school. That's how important it was to this area. Hanging tobacco in that old barn that my grandfather built. Anywhere around here, it was normal to see grandparents, parents, and grandchildren working side by side in tobacco or on the farm in general. Getting the golden leaf ready for market. Excuse me. You can see some of them old barns right here now that are falling in disrepair, but they're still around. People have converted them into other kind of shelters. And I wrote a poem about this old barn. Allow me to read it. It's falling in from time and neglect. Little remains for me to reflect. You've seen them around in decline, but it's significant to my bloodline. 4 generations toiled in this location till high production took this vocation. Now it's a heap of wood and bricks, but it was a skyscraper when I was 6. Watching my elders hang with sticks, I can see Grandma with her tie horse right over there, tying tobacco with precision and care, singing, we'll work till Jesus comes and we'll be gathered home. She sang that all the time while she was working. That bothered me. Because if this is the way it was going to be the rest of my life, I was ready for Jesus to come and bring me home. She was singing, we'll work till Jesus comes and we'll be gathered home. I can see Grandpa straddling tear poles. Bring it on. He was a giant to me, big and strong, and he would whistle. Just one rose will do. Now I'm old, and they've passed on. This old barn is but a tombstone. But they're all there in my mind. I can't help but think I've been left behind in this crazy world. But they did work till they went home, to the streets of gold, to their mansions, we are told. Just one rose was enough for them at this old barn when the work day ends. But we settled in a little town around home, over here, Salemburg. That's always been our town. We live about 6 miles out of there, and that's where we're from. And that's where our outreaches are. And we have traveled to Florida. We have sent supplies. We have traveled to Louisiana during the floods with relief items. We've sent stuff to Texas, and we made countless trips to the coast of North Carolina during the hurricanes. And the people in this community were so generous. We would load up 30-foot trailers with supplies and food. And we've been to Kentucky when the tornadoes hit. We went there last year with 3 or 4 trailers worth of food and supplies, whatever they needed. We'd get the word out. This community sprang into action. We had all this stuff. And people are impressed when we get there. And they said, "Where are y'all from?" Then the next question is, where is Salemburg? But it's a good town. It's some good people. I've traveled the world. I've been to many different countries, and I've traveled for a living. I've traveled the United States many times over. And I've not seen one place yet I would like to say I'd like to live here and move. That's just the best place in the world. Live right here. You folks are some of the best people in the world is right here. Whatever you need, whatever problem you have, if you've got friends, if you belong to a community of believers, I guess people in this room that have helped me so many times. And glad to do it. So I wrote a poem about our little town, about living in a small town. Small town living, quiet and peace. Friends and neighbors gather for feasts, waving at folks as they pass by. They're waving back, not to be shy. We rarely cuss. It is forbidden. Occasionally we slip. It is forgiven. Small town humble. We ain't swanky. We'll welcome in an occasional Yankee. We'll receive them with love to spare. But we couldn't care less how you done it up there. Boys on bikes with fishing poles, preachers on Sunday saving souls. Hog's sweet aroma fills the air, smells like money, Bruce does swear. The barber shop not only cuts hair, they have all the gossip and are delighted to share. If you're opining for a culinary thrill, check out Melanie down at the grill. If your car's a little sluggish and the tires are low, just pull in the station and ask for Joe. Mr. Joe's gas has a unique scent. A fill up at Joe is money well spent. If you need a large stand, a shovel, or a 2x4, wheel right into the hardware store. The sweetest town you've never heard, our little town of Salemburg.
If you run a business, you need sales. To get sales, you need customers. To get customers, you need exposure. Let our team of experts craft and produce the perfect video ad to reach your intended audience while making the most of your advertising dollars. Call 1-800-706-6538 or visit starcom.net to contact our Star Communications production team and get your business moving to the next level.
Thank you for watching today's presentation of local storytelling brought to you by Graves Memorial Presbyterian Church. Be sure to tune in next time for another episode of the Community Storytelling Festival.